Hey everyone, this is Zach. I thought I would just show you guys my freshwater tanks. This is the 10-gallon tank I have in my bedroom. I've got right now two sunburst platies in there. One male, one female. The female actually just had some babies a few days ago. Um, I'll show you where the surviving fry are in a minute. There's also a male half moon beta in here. He's kind of hiding. Let's see if I can get a shot of him. He's kind of anchored himself to the bottom for now, but he is he gets along well with the platies. He didn't like it when I first put them in there. He was the first one in here, but he has grown accustomed to his new roommates. He's a double tail, so he's a double tail half moon beta. There we go. You can see he is red and blue. And then there's a good shot of the platies. Here's the female. As far as plants in here, in the back corner back there is an Amazon sword. It's pretty small right now. Here's a pair of bacopas flanking it. There's dwarf sage in the foreground. There's a cutting of a water wisteria I just put in there. It's just now starting to grow. There's some anacaris in the back. It just got a haircut the other day. It was all over the top of the tank, just kind of spreading from where it is all the way to the corners, so it looked really ugly, so I trimmed them back just a couple days ago. Here's a couple crypts, green crypts. Here's a little piece of pennywort. It's not really doing anything in here. I don't know if it likes it in here, but I also have one little piece floating. I'll see which one actually starts growing, the floating one or the one that's anchored down. And then there's an Anubias in the back. And that's it. So here's a full tank shot. I'll probably add some of the platy fry back in here when they're old enough to not get eaten. She probably had a dozen or so, and I was only able to save 5. So they ate the rest. As soon as they were coming out, she or the father were eating them. I didn't see the beta eat any of them, but several of them got eaten right away. So I'll show you where the survivors are hiding out. Okay, here's my 5.5 gallon shrimp tank. Right now it's got RCS shrimp in it. Probably, I don't know, about a dozen or so right now. I've got guppy grass just exploding all over this tank. There's one little piece of dwarf sage that's not really doing much. And then there's, I don't know if you can really see it, but that darker strand right there is Ludwigia repens that when I put it in here, it lost all its leaves. I think the water was a little different from where I got it, but it is starting to grow again at the end that's near the light. So I think it really likes the light because it's only growing near the tip where it's close to the bulb. But it's bouncing back pretty well. It is branching further down, so I think it'll be fine. As far as the shrimp, see if I can get focused in on them. There's probably about as good as it's going to get with the glare I'm getting, but that looks like a female right there. I do have 3 females or so that are buried right now, which means they're carrying fertilized eggs. So in about a month or less, I should have a bunch of baby shrimp swimming around in here, so that'll be pretty cool. Here's one of the buried females, actually. See if I can focus in on her. She's you can see her if the camera will focus. You can see her fanning the eggs with her swimmerettes. See the eggs right there on her belly. Also swimming through the picture is one of the platy fry. I mentioned I was able to save 5 fry. I did put them in this tank so they could grow up a little bit. They get along well with the shrimp. They're growing every day. They were about half that size probably when they were born. There's another shrimp hanging out. Oh, there's a couple of them actually. It looks like a male and a female. The female would be the brighter colored one. There's a good shot of the platy fry. So, part of the reason I put them in here is because I had tons of little micro critters in this tank because there weren't any fish to eat them. And the platy fry have really gone after them. I used to be able to see the glass just like crawling with little worms and bugs and things, and I think the platy fry are eating them all, which is great. It's what I wanted. And when they're, I don't know, double that size or more, maybe I think it will be safe to put them back with the parents. So here's the shrimp tank. And there's one more to show you. Okay, here's my 20-gallon tank. It's kind of hard to see what's going on there. There's so many plants everywhere. The big ones are water wisteria. I've probably got 3 or 4 of them in there, and they're just going crazy. This is a really low light tank. It's just got the stock hood on it with the stock fluorescent bulb. But the water wisteria must like this amount of light because they just explode. And I actually trimmed them all back to the height you see them at. They were poking out of the surface of the water a few days ago, so I cut them back. I really like that piece of driftwood I've got in there. It's actually got where I put that Java fern. I don't know if you can see it. It's actually got a hole there, and sometimes the fish swim through there. It's kind of fun to watch. They'll hide in there. The hole goes all the way through. You can kind of see it, I guess. But I also have some Java moss growing on there. It's starting to spread a little bit. Don't have a whole lot of fish in here. I've got 5 of these zebra danios. A couple of them are long fin. There's one of the long fins. And then I've got 7 neon tetras that you can see there. That's almost all of them. I'll probably add some cory cats or something like that, and then this tank will be pretty much full. But the wall that this tank is against is where I'm putting my 90-gallon reef tank. So I'm waiting to add more fish until after I get the reef tank going, because this tank is going to be moved. So I'm going to have to drain it to almost empty and move it. So the less fish I have to catch, the better. Here's a ram's horn snail playing King of the Mountain, apparently, up on the top of the driftwood. Got a ton of those, and I've really got a ton of MTS in this tank, Malaysian trumpet snails. They reproduce like crazy. I try to be mindful of overfeeding, but I must still be doing it because there's, I don't know if you can even see, but most of those specks are actually baby MTS. They just reproduce like crazy. You can see that one in the front scooting along really slowly. So maybe eventually I'll start picking some of them out of there, but they're not hurting anything just yet. My parameters in this tank are amazing. I get 0 ammonia, 0 nitrites, and 0 nitrates. I think I have a good amount of plants in here, so they just eat up whatever nitrates are produced. I have not gotten a nitrate reading for probably 2 months, so I'm really happy about this. This tank is very carefree, and it does have sand for the substrate, so any of the detritus just sits on the top, so it's really easy to siphon out. I do that once a week or once every other week. But aside from that, I don't have to do much in the way of water changes. I don't have any algae in this tank. I never have to clean the glass. It's really working out well. When I move it, I might try to aquascape it a little bit more. When I added all these plants, they were 2 and 3 inches tall, so I didn't really know how big some of them were going to get. So maybe I can make sure those water wisterias are in the background, because this one's kind of right in the middle of the tank and it's just kind of blocking the view of everything. So I'll try to rearrange it when I redo the tank. But there's the 20 gallon, and that's the last of my tanks that I've got right now. See you next time, guys. Bye.